1950, caste system was abolished on paper. But was it abolished from Indian people's mind? No. Man from SC community allowed to temple entry after filing complaint. Not just President Govind, even Mahatma Gandhi, Indira Gandhi were stopped at Jagannath temple. Karnataka had she shocked at persisting untouchability in rural areas. This happens in Kerala. Temple remains shut for 3 years to keep untouchables out. Dalit man killed in Trichy as two group clashes over love affair. Is caste pride worth killing someone? Family of Dalit man hacked in Chennai. Dalit man beaten with sticks for drinking water from tap dies. Caste-based discrimination is still prevalent majoritively in two cases, one in temple, another one in relationships. Former case, the temple, where all those people were prevented from entering into the temple, allegedly abused by abusive name-calling and especially by taking the caste where they belong to, which they then used to their accordance in preventing them to enter into the temple. And the second case, relationships, where a man from the lower class falls in love with a woman from the upper class. It is resulting in most of the honor killing cases still prevalent in India today. Varna system. So to get into where this caste system originated, first let's look into its basic pillar, Varna system. Varna system, it originated around 2500 BCE to 1500 BCE during the early Vedic period, where it was created for the division of labor. It is just like an Indian division of labor version, where the people are divided according to the occupations called as Varna, and four types were majorly occupying this Varna system. First one, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And according to the Purushasukdha Rigveda, where the Brahmins were originated or born from God's mouth, and Kshatriyas from God's arms, and Vaishyas from his thighs, and Sudras from his feet. Imagine which places you use your feet, so you can tell that how vulnerable is your feet. So that is how they related Sudras to. And this Varna system converted into the caste system during the 1500 BCE to 500 BCE, especially during the Manusmriti period, where the caste discriminations become extremely rigid, where the ancient Indian society, if you go through all ancient scriptures, where they recognize the person especially according to the assigned status from where he is born till that is going to be his identity till his death, and not by his achievement status, especially when he is born from the poor community in the hierarchy, social hierarchy. And best examples are Mahabharata's Karna and Ekalaiva, where during that time itself they performed this extremely rigid discrimination and untouchability. Leaving all the three communities behind, let's come to Sudras. Sudras were divided into two classes. One is backward class, another one is Dalit, and these two classes combinedly constitute 52% of the Indian population in 1980s according to the Mandal Commission, where the backward class, the main differentiation between these two is backward class was considered as touchable and the Dalits were considered as untouchable. The illusion was created on the backward class people that I am superior to the Dalit, who that person is already belonging to my caste, but I am at least illusionally bigger than that person in the social hierarchy. And this Hindu caste outside the OBC, especially scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, all together counted 20% of the Indian population. Because of this illusion of social superiority, they were not ready to accept what all the atrocities are committed by the other community people to them. So the backward class people was not even ready to accept Ambedkar as their savior. So the popularly Ambedkar was called a savior of Dalit, not the savior of backward class people as a combined whole. Why? Because there is one social illusion that they even forgot to remember that Ambedkar advocated special reservation for the backward class people in the government jobs in the future Commission of India, especially before the Simon Commission in 1920. Gandhi's take on Indian Varna system. According to Gandhi, he condemned the untouchability among the human being, but he never went against and criticized the Indian Varna, that is a caste system. He wanted to abolish untouchability among the Indian citizens, but he never was willing to accept that there is a discrimination based on the caste, because caste is already there in the Hindu society. So I am not going to go against it. Why? According to Gandhi, she said that if Sudra is working, for example, if Sudra is ready to be a priest in future, upgrading his skill, he can ready to do that. He can get ready to do that, but he should not forget his ancestral duties. And in the same manner, if the Brahmin is willing to do fighting or trading like Sudra, he can go and do those as long as he performs his ancestral priest duty, which means that Gandhi said that whatever community I am born in, the other community person is having, I can acquire that skill and I can interchangeably do those skills and come back to my own skill without forgetting it, which is in his own sense. But in reality, it doesn't exist like a horizontal interchangeable manner. The caste-based discrimination which is still followed now, people use the rigid practices where one cannot switch over from one position to the another position, resulting which the scavenger duties are only responsibly taken over only by particular community members still now, where other community members we cannot see them coming to this particular position. Simple words, according to Gandhi, let us be what everyone else can be, which means that the Varna system provides duty, not rights to anyone. And he said that Brahmin is a spiritual teacher and a scavenger who cleans up the litter wastes or the dirty parts in the society, or both equally respectable position in the society, and everyone should respect that. But is it what is in people's mind, and is it what we can consider like what is happening around us, or anyone from the upper caste ready to do the scavenger activity? Or have you ever heard that this person, particularly from this respectable community, is doing this scavenger activity voluntarily? So Gandhi's views on caste system can be seen from the 1935 incident, where a conflict happened between the lower class Harijan people and the upper class Hindus in the village called Kavya, where the upper class people boycotted that the lower class people, this Harijan people's children, should not attend the same school as our children. And Gandhi, instead of supporting the lower class people, said that Harijans, please relocate from that place and go wherever place you get supported. Ambedkar's take on Gandhi. If you deeply notice all those Gandhi's words about the caste system, you can see that people should stick to their traditional roles where they were born, which community they were born to, which means that you can do whichever job you feel happy to do that, but at the end of the day, it is your duty to return to your ancestral duty, which means that you should not forget in your mind that even if you're in the respectable position of the society, you should not forget that you and your family and your ancestors are from that particular community doing that particular task. And if your father is a scavenger and you are doing a white collar job, you can do that white collar job up until whenever possible, but you should return back to your own ancestral duty, do that scavenger activity, and you should transfer that activity to your future generation. So sure, all your generation children, all your generation people should keep that in any part of your mind. Still you should think like, okay, I am belonging to this community. And Ambedkar further added that with Mr. Gandhi's Varna system, he determined that by birth and profession of a Varna is determined by principle of heredity, so that Varna is merely another caste, another name of caste. So any work is good, that is what Gandhi said. Any work is good, and why only the particular community member is going to do task that is particularly frowned upon by the society, where every other society community members are not okay in doing that and not respect, they are merely respecting that, that is good, but why they are not okay in doing that particular job, only the particular community is always assigned that task. Ambedkar said that right to equality is above any religion or any caste, and this particular Purushasukdha Rigveda's Varna system was fabricated by the Brahmaniacal society for their own benefit, for their own positional good in the society. And because of this, education was not provided to the women of all the four communities and the Sudras especially. So education is the gateway to attain all the freedom, and the fundamental freedom is restricted to the Sudras and the women of Indian community, which is why still these Sudras and the women community are fighting back for their rights, when all the other communities compared to the countries of all over the world, all are making such progress, but still India is dwelling in that caste based system. Like Ambedkar said, caste system has harmed the Indian society and the Hindus. And Indian parents, still now, how many Indian parents are okay for intercaste or interreligion marriages? Why are we having n number of matrimonial sites in ads still now? And especially older Indians and the one without any college degree are against this intercaste marriages. Pew Research Institute survey stated that Indians say it as at least somewhat important to stop men, that is 79%, and women, that is 80%, from marrying the one from the another caste, including at least 6 in 10 who say that it's very important to stay inside one's own community from and provide that peaceful community happening regardless of the gender. 62% of men voted for this and 64% of women voted for this, which means you can see how much pride one carries in his own caste till now in 2024. Untouchability, a greatest crime and the disease of a humankind. According to Article 17 of Indian Constitution of India, it declares that the practice of untouchability as illegal and unconstitutional and a crime, where this untouchability, if you take where it comes from, it takes its root directly through the ancient practice of complete brainwashing technique by the Brahmaniacal practice towards the Sudras, where they manipulated the Sudra community people or else the lower community people by stating all those things like, do only this because you are only this and we are above you, and you should not touch the part that we used, you should not walk by the road that we live in, and you should not be our own neighbor when we are having our own community. All those brainwashing inculcation techniques followed by the Brahmaniacal society is nothing but superstition, and especially this Brahmaniacal ritualism is essentially a superstition. It is not even a religion in the first place. The so-called caste system is nothing but a misaligned and misuse of power play by one particular community people, so that they can use that control over you by restricting us to the education, by assigning only the particular tasks that are not skill based, only the capital intensive labor based, so that you are assigned only to that particular work throughout your entire life, throughout your whole generation are going to do that without any education. What will you do? You are going to come back to us folding your hand and bending your head in front of us so that we can control you. This is nothing but a power play, and exploitation was initially a very fluid form of social organization, but with interdependence at its basis. At the end of the video, I want to ask you one simple question. Is untouchability over in India, or the word untouchability is not spoken in words but written in every people's action for their false pride?